Hello lovely people, it's Nicola back in the Stitches and Slapdashery sewing room. It's freezing outside today. We woke up to -9. When we went out walking, it had warmed up to a giddy -8. And whilst we were pretty well wrapped up, our faces were still very, very red and cold by the time we got home. At least it was sunny. It's not like we went out in a blizzard or anything. There is no snow at our level right now. It was just really, really cold. Definitely thermal underwear weather in my book. I hope you've enjoyed the last week. If you celebrate Christmas or any other winter festival, I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you had a peaceful time with lots of good food and good relations with family. Sometimes Christmas can be a little interesting, shall we say, once you get family members all together. So I hope you had a good time. I hope you're keeping warm if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and cool if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. It's been a few days of quite a lot of good food. I cooked a family meal. Now that my kids are late 20s, early 30s, yes, we all live under the same roof, but we rarely actually get around the table to eat dinner together on a regular basis. So on the 21st, I made sure we did. And on the 24th in the evening, we did. And on the 25th, we all went to see the new Avatar movie in 3D at the local theatre, which was good, very loud, but good. I'm glad we went. And that was 3.5 hours in the cinema. So after that, we all just raided what was left in the fridge from, the previous couple of days' meals. So we had all sorts of leftovers and savory stuff and sweet stuff, and just kind of hoovered up as much as we could so that it didn't go to waste. That seems to be a good practice around Christmas time, doesn't it? When there's a lot of food being cooked and a lot of leftovers. Thankfully, yesterday morning, Boxing Day morning, was not super busy at work. I was expecting it to be a little crazy, maybe a lot of people trying to return stuff, but thankfully that wasn't the case. So it was very manageable. And then in the afternoon, unfortunately, I've been letting my afternoons just get frittered away lately. I've been looking for an idea to use up the other half of that Karen anniversary cake. And I feel like I've spent hours looking through patterns and projects on Ravelry trying to find some inspiration, and I still haven't decided what to do, and it's really frustrating. And I have used quite a lot of my scraps to make 25 bookmarks, which I will have shown you at the beginning of this video, because I want some for myself, and also I thought I might just give some away, and it was a great way to use up a lot of my 4-inch squares that I had cut a long time ago. I've also been reading library books. I just finished a good book by Jojo Moyes, The Girl You Left Behind, and I really enjoyed that. And so there hasn't actually been a lot of crafting the last couple of days, what with reading and cooking and working and lying on the couch, just generally feeling like I'm in hibernation mode. And I always feel like that at this time of the year. Do you? Between Christmas and the New Year, it just seems like you don't really want to do anything or go anywhere. And I really resent having to leave the house for any reason. So let's talk about a little bit about what I did this year, just to go over some achievements. A quick summary of my YouTube videos, and I'll try and be quick. I don't want to make this a really long video, but I did a screen recording of all the vlogs on my YouTube studio from the first one that was this year. It was vlog 75 was the first one this year, and now we're up to, I think it's 133. I think this is 133. That's a lot of videos, plus the fact that I've done a few tutorial videos and other extras that weren't numbered. So I'm going to sit a little off to the side because I'm going to put a little thing in here, scrolling through the thumbnails of the vlogs that I have done. And some of the things included a tutorial for a zipper pouch, and then also an afterthought pocket tutorial for the same zipper pouch in different sizes. In January, I did a whole bunch of stash flashing and stash busting plans because I wanted to get through a whole bunch of the yarn I had, and that was very successful. I did a dishcloth tutorial. I made an interchangeable needle case. Somebody was asking in a more recent video, I think it might have been during Slowember, whether I was going to do a tutorial for the interchangeable needle pouch that I had made. And I don't think I am, because in vlog number 83, I did a very clear explanation of my method and what I was doing as I went. And I think that anyone could probably watch that video and then make it for themselves, because I explain what I did in that video. If you do go back and watch that and you want to make that pouch and you have any issues, just ask me, put a comment on the video, and I will do my best to explain further. I made fabric baskets by Michelle Patterns. I made little progress flag amigurumi and a tutorial for that. I made totes for a local charity, which helps women who are needing to get dressed up for job interviews but don't have the resources to buy clothes. I made 2 sunshine crossbody bags by Bagstock Designs and matching tote bags for those too. I made an ironing pad. That was fun. I had a piece of wood and I wrapped it in a whole ton of batting. I think it might have been Insul fleece or Insul bright. I can't remember. And then a whole bunch of cotton fabric and stapled it on the back. First time using a staple gun. Very fun. Definitely recommend. In April, we went over to see family for 2 weeks in Britain because my mum died in March. So we had a 2-week holiday to attend the funeral and also so I could spend some time with my sister going through mum's stuff. That seems like a long time ago now. It's funny, I mostly miss my mum on weekends because I used to be in the habit of phoning and or doing like a Facebook Messenger video chat with her on the weekends. Not every weekend, but a lot of them. And so on the weekends, I will wake up sometimes on a Saturday morning and think, call mum. And then, of course, I remember she's not there anymore. So that's a bit sad. But on the whole, I feel like I've accepted it and I've dealt with it pretty calmly. So that's good. Made a couple of scrappy totes out of patchwork. Sewed a butterick top, and I did a video about that one. Upcycled a bunch of onesies into a quilt that my niece had given me from her baby's first months, and that was quite the challenge. I wasn't really sure how I was going to do it, and for a long time I was putting it off, thinking, how am I going to do this so it looks good? But I ended up, I think, doing a reasonable job, and she was delighted with it when I sent it to her, so that was a good thing too. It's always a challenge trying to put stretchy fabrics and non-stretchy fabrics together, and then all these different textures and fibers and patterns together. You don't really know how it's going to end up. I did quite a bit of textile art. I made some takeout containers out of scrap art and some project bags, and I did a patchwork basket tutorial based on one I had seen from somewhere else online. And then I made a denim bucket bag. Oh yes, that one, I just love it. I've got all my embroidery threads in it. It's a square sort of bucket basket thing made out of upcycled denim and scraps of quilt fabric. And I just love the cartoon fabric I used on that. It's just my favorite thing ever. I also made a tote out of some scraps and upcycled denim where I cut circles out of the denim so you can see through to the scrap fabric. I'm using that for my line brand Heartland stash right now and my Granny Square project, ongoing project, going through the Granny Square box of patterns, the 50 little cards with the charts on by Claire Montgomery. So that's getting used. I did a string-pieced quilt. Now that was supposed to be for my middle son because I thought we were going to get him a new bed and zhuzh up his room a bit. Well, that hasn't happened yet. So I'm just hanging on to it down here. It's just tucked away under my desk here, just waiting for that to happen. I did a tutorial for a little hand-sewn felt pumpkin. I made a lot of those. I made a lot for myself, but also gave some to my friend for fall, just because. And oh, it was her birthday. That's right. It was her birthday in October, so I gave her some, and she really loved them. Made some bowl cozies. Didn't enjoy that. You might remember that. November was Slowvember, and I had a lot of fun with that. A video every day, which was a really good way to make me have fun. Because not doing Vlogmas this year, I found that December just kind of got frittered away with a lot of non-productive stuff. Whereas November, I did so many crafts and I tried a lot of new things and I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, I think I'm going to have to do more of those monthly challenges so that I can make myself get down in my sewing room and make the most of my spare time as much as possible. December crafts. Yeah, I did a lot of things for decorating for the solstice. I made a wreath, garlands, button crafts, fabric crafts, paper crafts, a couple of ornaments for the tree, that sort of thing. So it was a pretty busy year. And that's not including all of the things I did in yarn. So this whole page of stuff is what I just told you about. I also have a whole page of stuff which was knitting and crochet. So I'm going to, again, put just here a screen grab of my Ravelry project page just for this year's projects. And there aren't as many project pages as there were projects because some of the project pages have more than one item in them. I reckon I made about 54 items. And I'll just give you a quick rundown of these. And I'm not going to put a link under the video for every single one of these because it would take me far too long to do it. So I just suggest you go over to look at my Ravelry project page. It's Nicolaknits over there. I always link to that underneath the video. And just go take a look if something in particular interests you and you want to go check it out. I do try and fill my project pages in as completely as possible. But if you want to know more, just ask me. I read all the comments and I always reply to them. So let's go working back. We're going to work back here from this month. And I can't remember whether I think probably I'm going to be scrolling from in the same direction from I can't remember now. I can't remember if my screen recording goes from the oldest to the newest or the other way around. But the way I've written it out, I'm going from the newest to the oldest here. And some of these things I completely forgot I had done. I made the vested interest vest, of course. That was the one with the Karen anniversary cakes in the lovely shades of light blue, red, white, and a gingerbread brown colour. And it came out brilliantly. It was from Drops Design. I really, really, really loved how it came out. And yes, I have worn it since. Also made a matching beanie, which I used as a swatch. And then I added an applique gingerbread man to the front of it. And I just wore that today because you need a hat when it's -8 outside. Let's see, there's some boring things in here, like a couple of dishcloths. Before that was the New Page shawl. That was a white shawl with multicolored stripes in a spike stitch. And that was a paid pattern, I think. And I used Loops and Threads yarn for that. Loops and Threads Impeccable Multis. That's right, for the coloured parts anyway. And I think Colour Crafter or something like that for, not Colour Crafter, that's Escapious yarn, isn't it? Loops and Threads. Can't remember. It's on the project page. But yes. If I had to go back and, if I were to go back and make another one of those, I would make it a bit bigger. Because I find that it's a triangle shawl, but when I try and wear it like I normally wear a triangle shawl, the point at the front, and then I wrap it, it's just not quite holding onto my neck well enough. I do love the pom-poms on it though. I'm so glad I took the time to do that. The Starburst sweater. Now that was the full bluff pullover. And I called it the Starburst because it was based on a dream I had, and it had a crazy amount of colours emanating from a spiral in the middle here, right at solar plexus level on a plain sweater. And yes, there was a lot of agonizing over design decisions for that, but I was really pleased about how that worked out too. In fact, I really need to pull it out from underneath the other pile of sweaters in my closet and actually wear it more, because it's lovely and big and floppy and sloppy and cozy. And yeah, I'm going to have to get that out. Maybe today. The Snowy Wheat Puff beanie, that was a crocheted beanie that was made sideways and just cinched up at the top, no crown shaping. And that has turned out to be one of my favorite hats. It's really warm, and it was made with the Lion Brand Respun, which is recycled yarn. And yes, I love it. I did love that one. And I was going to buy more of the Respun because I thought how awesome it would be to make a Gansey or Guernsey with it. And I'm pretty sure Michael's doesn't have it in anymore. You've got to grab these things while you can sometimes, because they come and go far too quickly. I made a thing that looked like a taco in rainbow yarn as a little stuffy, just because I wanted to attempt a circle and then fold it in half and stuff it and put a little face on it. And it lives in my car. I looped it over the gear shift in my car because I just like looking at it all the time when I get in my car, because it's fun. Made a hand towel out of random paint box cotton. Granny mushrooms. I guess that was a paid pattern too. But they're really cute mushrooms, and I really should make some more of those. I did some a review video on some Lion Brand yarn, Feels Like Bliss, something like that. What was it? Feels Like Bliss, Feels Like a Dream, and a couple of the others. Not something I would want to buy again. I didn't like any of them enough to want to buy them again. But I did make a couple of beanies and also a set of fingerless mitts and a headband out of some of that yarn. I think I still have a little bit of it stuck in my cubby over there as well, because I don't really want to use it. So it was a bit disappointing. Made a beanie out of Serta Jewel Spun. That Jewel Spun yarn is so gorgeous. The colours it comes in. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's one of those things, you know, you wish you could just buy every colour they do and just stash it, but I'm not going to. Winter Flower wrist warmers, those were kind of fingerless mitts with almost like a fancy granny square on the back of the hands. Those are pretty. I don't know what I did with those. I know I've got a little bag under my desk here with some things that I've made that I decided I wasn't going to use myself, but I'll probably use as gifts, and then I forgot about them. I need to pull them out. I made a beautiful granny wrap from Annaboo's house, And when I looked at the project page for that, I thought, what did I do with that? I haven't seen that. And then I remembered I gave it to my sister. I carried it all the way over to Jersey to give it to my sister. And I really hope she's using it, because if I'd kept it, I would have definitely used that. I thought it was lovely. So I hope she is using it now. You know, living in a island in the middle of the ocean in Britain tends to get pretty cold and damp. So, you know, you need to have these extra layers to snuggle up in. So I hope she remembers that she's got it this winter. Made a hot water bottle cozy. Progress flag, amigurumi, already mentioned those, just little stuffies. Made one into a keychain. Have one hanging off my handbag that I use on a daily basis. The Aisling shawl, I think that's how you say it, Aisling, and that was a lovely shawl that I made in, I think it was bamboo pop. And it was, I think, a garter stitch in the middle and then a bit of lace on the border. And I wore that at work just yesterday, because sometimes I'm wearing something that's just got like a round neck and it doesn't look very flattering, or I feel like I want something at my neck just to add a little bit of warmth or a little bit of interest. And so there's been a few times when I've worn it at work, and yeah, I've had some nice compliments on that too. But also when I'm standing at the till, when it's cold outside, it can get pretty drafty, so it's nice to have that extra little layer. I made a cube storage box. Yeah, I crocheted. That was one of the things I did as my one of my stash busters. I crocheted 5 panels, 5 squares, and I joined them together and I reinforced them with some of that corrugated plastic stuff. And that is currently holding what's left of my cotton yarns, which I'm definitely going to have to go through. My plan is the beginning of January, or maybe before that, but it's already, I don't know what the date is today. Is it the 27th, something like that? But sometime in the next week, what I'm hoping to do is do what I did at the beginning of this year, tip all the yarn on the floor and really do a serious inventory of it. And the fact that I probably haven't touched it for a year means that I should probably think about giving it away. I may do that. Not sure yet. More dishcloths. Oh yeah, and I did a tutorial for those. A bandana cowl called the Granny Triangle Cowl Loop Scarf. That was a stash buster where I multi-stranded yarn for that, and I'm pretty sure I thrifted that because I didn't really like it when it was finished. Some plant pot covers just to zhuzh up my plant pots in my dining room and my living room. I really enjoy those. They make me smile when I see those. I crocheted a leaf called Leafling. The pattern was called Leafling, and it was beautiful. And I think, yep, I've just got it pinned over there on my cube, just because I can see it that way. I made a spike stitch makeup bag, which was very unexciting, and I'm pretty sure I thrifted that already. It was purely to use up some cotton. Didn't like the colours. Glad it's out of the house. I made a beanie called The Future is Vegan. Now, what happened to that? That's another thing I don't know what I've done with. Did I put it in my 2 baskets, one of my 2 baskets by the front door with all of my accessories? I'm pretty sure I didn't give it away to anybody. I'm going to have to dig that out, aren't I? This is terrible. Like I said, going back through all of this stuff is really enlightening because I forget about half of it. I have one project page that had about 6 things on it because it was for the Red Heart All-in-One Granny Square yarn, and I had bought some online to try it out. This was long before my Michaels got it in, and so I mail ordered it from somewhere. I can't remember where now, probably yarnspirations.ca or something like that. So once I had made all of the granny squares up from all of the yarns I had bought, the colorways I bought, I made a drawstring bag, actually a large one and a small one. I made a cowl, a hat, a tea cozy, which is beautiful, and I do use it on one of my big teapots either when I have friends over, or on the occasion when I have a very slow day ahead and I know I can just make myself a pot of tea in the morning and drink scads of tea before I start my day. Normally on a work day or on most other days, I just have a cup of tea, but every now and again, I just make a pot, and it feels so much more nurturing somehow. So yes, I love that tea cozy. And I made a vest, and I made a bum bag type fanny pack thing, which I have used a couple of times, but currently is hanging on the hook over there on the door of my sewing room. I made this weird grey balaclava thing. Looks like a knight's chainmail helmet. I think that's another thing that went to the thrift shop. A random beanie and ear flap hat from Stash, which I'm pretty sure went to a thrift. A peaked cap called Reasonably Hip, pattern was. I made that for Mr. Stitches. I think he might have worn it a couple of times, but I haven't seen it for a very long time. So I guess it wasn't as successful of a gift as I was hoping it was going to be. I was really hoping that it would be a warm hat that would also protect his glasses if there was some rain or some snow. But because he's bald, I think it just didn't keep him warm enough around the head. And yeah, a fleece one probably would have been a better idea. You live and learn. I made a couple of very fluffy cowls out of this faux fur yarn from Fabricland, actually. It was a yarn that came and went pretty quickly, and I think it was called Buttersoft. And the sad thing is, it was one of the most popular yarns they had in, and they sold it almost as fast as it came in. And then they didn't keep getting it in. Isn't that always the way? I made something called the Faraway Jumper from Iron Lamb. That was a granny square yoke sweater. And the plan was to make it kind of look Christmassy, because I think I started it last December and finished it in January. And it was in a turquoise with gold and red striping. And I just loved how it looked. It was a little bit oversized on me and a little bit cropped, but I have worn it. But it's not my favorite sweater. I love the look of it though. And I would probably consider making it again, but in a smaller size and longer. I made this blanket I'm sitting on here. This is called the No Wool Left Behind blanket. And I made it by multi-stranding a whole ton of acrylic yarn and just changing the colors as I went. And this is lovely and cozy. It just sits on this armchair in my sewing room all the time. Absolutely love it. That used up a lot of yarn. And the pattern was by Johanna Lindahl. And I made a couple of little tiny things. I made a little tiny sunshine pin for me to wear on my uniform at work, which I then took off and that's right, I took it off because I started to wear a little felt ghost for Halloween, and then I never got around to putting the sun back on, but I really should do that. And I also made a little snow person. The little snow person was the first thing I made this year. So we've been going from this month all the way back to January, reverse order. Phew, that was quite a busy year. Another thing I did this year, which I'm just reminded of by looking at my notes here, I also started a weights program. Finally. It had been a while since I cancelled my membership at the gym because I just wasn't going. And Mr. Stitches kept on going. And really, I should have just kept on going because we were on a really, really good plan where it only cost like $20 every 2 weeks. Or was it even less? Even if it was $20 every 2 weeks, that was really cheap to be a member of the gym. And I had joined it first, and then a month later he joined because he was like, oh, okay, I guess she's doing this. Maybe I'll do it too. So that was great for a couple of years. And then I just got out of the habit and I thought, why am I paying them and not going? This is how they make their money, right? So many people sign up, especially in January when everyone's doing their New Year's resolutions and they're like, I'm going to join a gym and get fit. I actually joined in September, so that didn't count for me. But I stopped going. And I think one of the reasons was they had stopped doing the yoga classes. It got to the point where they weren't offering the kind of classes I was interested in, and I could have just done the weight training at home. So I thought, rather than give them money every 2 weeks, I'm just going to stop going. Well, now if I wanted to rejoin, it's more like $80 a month. So I don't think I'm going to be rejoining. They have got a yoga class again on Wednesday nights, but it's just not the same anymore. It's just not the same. It's changed hands, that gym, and yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. So this is all to say that for a long time I wasn't doing any upper body workouts at all. I was going for walks every day because at the beginning of last year, when Mr. Stitches got his cancer diagnosis and he was starting to go through treatment, he was off work. I wasn't working. We made an effort to go out walking every day. And we have kept that up ever since. So walking, cardio, like aerobic sort of stuff, fine. But upper body strength, 0. So about 6 months ago, I started doing a 3 times a week weights workout at home. And I bribed myself with yarn and it worked beautifully. Because I have been able to pay myself in yarn, 1 ball of yarn for every week of workouts completed. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Occasionally something happens, like life gets in the way. Maybe I have a long shift and I just don't have the energy in the evening. But I have always made up for it either the day before or the day after. And that's why I have to do a workout today, because I didn't do one yesterday because I forgot about it. But I will do it. And just the thought of being able to add another ball of yarn to my yarn credit is enough just to make me want to keep it up. Plus, there's the thought that, yeah, I'm actually noticing a difference. I'm feeling good about it. I'm seeing the results and I just want to keep it up. But the ball of yarn still helps. In fact, I think I may be currently at 5 balls of yarn of credit that I haven't spent yet. And when I bought that big Karen anniversary cake that was 1,000 meters, a whole kilo of yarn, I counted that as 4 weeks. Now it's really tempting for this week because Michael's yarn is 30% off. And with my staff discount on top of that, I could save a lot of money on yarns. So it's tempting to want to buy some. But on the other hand, I don't have any specific plans for what to make next. I'm trying to be sensible. So I think what I will do is, once I have done my yarn stash flash and taken a serious look at what I have, then maybe I can consider acquiring more. I do have to bear in mind that Mr. Stitches will be retiring in 3 months, and that there may be a little bit of clamping down on the budget at that point. So maybe if I'm going to splurge, it should happen earlier in the year, if you know what I mean. I suppose the last thing I want to finish with is just to say thanks to all of you for being here. My little channel has grown to 1,041 subscribers, and that's pretty impressive to me. I never expected that when I started this channel 2.5 years ago. You always wonder, if I put a video out there, will anyone actually want to watch it? So I'm just grateful that you're all here. Some of you have been here for a long time, and I'm really pleased about that. I'm pleased that you are willing to spend your time with me. I know there's so many channels out there. I have a lot of subscriptions myself, and I don't get to watch all of the updates that come through because I just don't have the time. So if you're here, I'm really happy you're here, and I hope you continue to spend time with me going into 2026. Oh, I can't believe it's 2026. I think we all say this every year, can't we? Don't we? I was just looking at the date 2012 the other day and thinking, oh, that was just a couple of years ago. No, that was 13 years ago. Where does the time go? I don't know. In addition to flashing the yarn stash, I am considering flashing the fabric stash too. I do have a small collection of quilt cartons up here in my cubbies and in my plastic bins. I also have some other fabrics in this closet area behind me. And I feel like I said this at the beginning of this year, but what I would like to do is pull more of it out and actually use more of it. But I was given quite a bit. A friend gave me quite a large amount of fabric this year. And yes, I didn't have to keep it all. I could have sent it off to the thrift store or another friend if I'd wanted to, but I thought, it's good fabric. I can make something with that. As one does. I need to get on that, don't I? So yeah, I think plans for 2026, more sewing, more knitting, more crocheting, more crafty fun. Thanks so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you again in 2026. Bye for now.